Across Denmark, church towers rise quietly above towns and cities. They belong to Folkekirken, the evangelical Lutheran Church of Denmark. It's where traditions are kept alive, even as society changes around them. Could you tell me, are you a member of Folkekirken?
Yes, I am.
No.
Yes, I am a member.
Not anymore.
Yes, I am.
Despite Denmark's strong secular reputation, today more than 70% of Danes are members of the church, with most people joining as children through baptism. Unless they actively choose to leave by opting out, membership continues automatically.
Whenever we do surveys or interviews about belief in God, people very rarely say that they believe in God or that they believe in an afterlife or whatever. But then on the other hand, you have the fact that people remain a member of the church, and that can be termed as the Scandinavian paradox. So why do people remain members of the church in such a large scale numbers when they don't believe in God or they don't go to church? But I think, like I said before, for Danes or for people in Nordic countries, it makes sense because the church has more to do with national identity, more so than to do with God.
It's a kind of a cultural thing. It's a kind of it's a part of our culture. Some of the churches are more than 1,000 years old, so I think I like them.
So we have this notion of people being cultural Christians in Denmark, meaning that people remain a member of the church, not because they believe in God or because they go to church a lot, but because they feel that cultural identity of being a Dane is so closely connected to the church and they want to kind of manifest that.
Although they may not participate in regular religious practices, there's an aspect of Folkekirken deeply rooted in Danish culture that many are determined to hold on to.
It's also a provider of the big life rituals. So the baptism, the confirmation, the wedding and the funeral, for most people the automatic choice is still to go to the church to have those rituals performed.
Tina has been a priest at Aarhus Cathedral for 15 years. She expressed the importance of these celebrations, regardless of belief.
I think we have very few rituals in our life where we are being connected to something that is bigger than us. We have these bridges in our lives. When we are parents, it's a big change. And what about the new responsibility? Can I take care of my child? When you cherish your love to the altar and you're getting wedded, that's also a big change in life, to commit yourself. And I think the church has a language for these bridges. And maybe that's why we are still having a voice in a modern society.
However, this voice can be limited, particularly with the younger generation. Tina has noticed a trend regarding church attendance.
They come at Christmas, maybe Easter, and then they come to baptism, they get wedding, and then they don't come here. The church is not important in their lives. They're too busy, actually.
Despite membership numbers remaining high, a decline is evident. In 1990, 89% of Danish citizens were members. Today, the number has dropped to just over 70%. So why are people choosing to opt out of the church?
I've signed out of it because I didn't really care about it and it cost money and yeah.
I don't. For a lot of people, they don't care. It has been mean very much nowadays for most people, I think.
I think sometimes it's about saving taxes.
So for instance, I'm not a member of the church. That means that I don't pay the church tax. But because the state of Denmark still allocates so much money to the church, that means that everyone who pays general taxes in Denmark will still kind of indirectly pay money to the church.
This tax is one of the reasons some critical voices have advocated for the total separation of the church and the state in Denmark.
I do think that we will be separated from the state at one point in 10, 20 years perhaps. As long as we keep on having the themes, life themes, as an agenda, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a good thing. We are a modern society, a secular society.
Times are changing, and initiatives such as Aarhus Gospel Singers are working to hold on to the community aspect of Folkekirken. Rune started the group 17 years ago and has brought together over 300 members who congregate every Tuesday to sing.
I was kind of brought up, some would say pretty strict, you know. We were singing hymns. Obviously I want to talk about God, but in a good way, you know. In the old days we were kind of you have to believe, you have to do like this. I hate that. For me, I just want to sing. Come, join it. Join the choir, be a part of it. I love the fellowship. I love the things going on. We were not designed to be alone. And many people are alone. They have all sorts of problems. And people are coming, attending the choir, and then they get filled up with fellowship.
The majority of both pastors and people working in the church and also members are kind of moving into that position of saying, well, the Folkekirke should be a church for the folk, for the people, and we should adapt accordingly.
For many, the church will always be a symbol of cultural belonging, tradition and community. For others, its role may feel less relevant in a modern, diverse Denmark. As the country changes and memberships continue to decline, Folkekirken must decide what it wants to be: a spiritual home, a cultural institution, or perhaps something new altogether.